What's up, guys? This is Ryan from Elevate Security, and today I wanted to address a lot of the people that are new to the field of offensive security, pen testing. Maybe you're not in the field, maybe you aspire to be. All walks of life, pretty much, whether you are already in IT, so you're kind of close to the space, or if you're not at all close to the space, maybe you're a barista at Starbucks or a bartender or in some sort of trade, like welding or plumbing, or maybe you're still in school, maybe you're a college student. No matter where you are, whatever walk of life that you're currently in, I just want to tell you that you can still get into security, and this is a much needed field. So I'm going to break down in this video exactly how you can go about doing that. But first, I want to share with you my journey, my story, how I went into this field. So when I was in college, I was majoring in electrical engineering, and that's a major that I did for 4 years until I decided it wasn't for me. So yeah, I was pretty late to switch over, but after being in my senior year, not really doing that good in my classes and definitely not enjoying it at all, I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I have to change to something else. And so it happened to be my freshman year, I got put on the special living floor for all the students that were part of a major called security and risk analysis, which was basically like a cybersecurity type of degree at my college. So completely random, completely by chance. And I remember always thinking like, wow, if I wasn't doing electrical engineering, I would definitely do the security and risk analysis thing. It sounds really interesting. And I'm always hearing about how security is on the cutting edge and all that. And I was like, So by the time I got to my senior year, I was really hating electrical engineering. I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to make the switch. So that's when I did that, and I pretty much never looked back. Fortunately for me, it only took an extra year to graduate. And yeah, so this is one sort of setup that you can go for if you guys are in college, but you got to be careful, I will say, with one caveat, is that there are a lot of kind of fraudulent security degrees out there. So you really got to do your due diligence, do your research, make sure that it is a legitimate cybersecurity degree. In the case of my school, it was approved by the NSA and stuff, so there was actually like a valid one, luckily. But I've definitely heard a lot of horror stories about people that went to school for security and basically getting scammed. So just make sure you do your due diligence there. But even the route I went was not what I would say is a standard route. That's a little bit non-standard. It's a little bit new to have a security degree like that. But even still, I did not immediately enter the field of security upon graduating. Because one thing you need to keep in mind about pen testing, about most of security in general, is it is not an entry-level position. So the way that I would look at security, particularly offensive security, is I would equate it to a senior dev role if you're familiar with development, programming. By all intents and purposes, it's a senior dev role, but the thing is, there is no junior dev role. The junior dev role equivalent would be working in IT or maybe working as a developer or programmer. So immediately once you come over to the security side, you are already one step up the ladder there. It's considered a more senior position. So I mean, it compensates you as if you're a more senior position as well. So that's a nice thing about security. But the standard path is to work as a developer or in IT first. Because think about it this way, right? And just by the very nature of security, how can you secure or hack, in our case, an application or a system if you don't understand how that application was developed, or you don't understand how that system was configured, you don't understand how it works beneath the hood. So that's why employers really value these sort of skill sets, people coming from maybe system administration, maybe web developer, stuff like that, because they already have that underlying understanding of how it works because they've worked on it before. And so now making the transition from that to how can I break it is a lot easier than having no clue about it and then immediately just trying to break it, right? So that is normally the life cycle of that. Now, back to my story was as soon as I graduated, I was fortunate enough to get a job for a Fortune 10 company, but I was starting off in IT operations. So it was a really large company, so we actually had a dedicated backup and recovery team. So that's where I started. Basically, I was backing up all the data on the company kept, and I was performing restores if ever data got deleted that they needed recovered. So that fell under the umbrella of IT operations. So a lot of system administration skills that had to do with like Linux servers, Windows servers. So it was a really nice, all-encompassing kind of system administration-esque position, and that definitely helped me as a pen tester, as an attacker, to understand the infrastructure side, to understand how certain things are configured, and how I can, because a lot of on OSCP or on the job, whatever, a lot of the skills that you're going to use to hack stuff is going to be thinking like a sysadmin, like, okay, well, where might they have potentially missed something that I can use, exploit that, get further privileges on the system or whatever, right? So being able to put yourself in their shoes is a lot easier when you've already been in their shoes versus if you don't know anything about that stuff, right? So that is where that really comes in. And so for me, I was a backup and recovery administrator for about 2 years. And fortunately for me, my boss at the time, he came over from security, so he had some connections there. He was able to get me over there in 2 years. It was a lateral movement within the same company from backup and recovery team to penetration testing. And so, yeah, I was pretty fortunate in that regard. I would say for most people, a good timeline to look at is like 3 to 5 years in IT operations or development until you can make the transition over to security. That's normally the timeline. I got there a little bit sooner, but yeah, ever since then, I've been on the pen testing side, and it's definitely the side that I enjoy. I like really being in the technical stuff on the cutting edge and basically being able to hack companies for a living and then tell them where they're vulnerable. I think it's a pretty cool job. I don't know about you guys, but so that was my path. That was how I got there, right? But let's take another example. Maybe you're in college currently. If you're in college, I would say, yeah, just go ahead, graduate, get a degree. MIS is a good major, computer science, anything that's going to help get you into the IT space, whether that be IT operations, system administration, database administrator, anything like that, or development. So you're a developer, web developer, systems developer, whatever title, you write code, you're good. I think web developer is probably the most ideal in order to switch over to penetration testing, because you'll be able to do web app pen testing pretty efficiently, be really quick to learn that for you. But either way, get started in one of those. Now I will say, if your express intent is to get into penetration testing, what I would say is go into IT operations. It's going to be a lot less of a pain. Like, being a developer is one of those things where you gotta love it, because it's gonna be really intensive. You're gonna spend a lot of time staring at a screen, writing code, debugging code, trying to interpret code that is just disgustingly messy. I never did this personally, but I have friends that have worked in there, and I've heard nightmare stories. Sometimes you have to work on code that's like, it's just really old, written by bunch of people that are no longer with the company, and it's a mess and no one knows where anything, like, it can be bad. It can be a good experience too, certainly, if you're fortunate to work on clean code, but you might be working on like PHP code written like 5 years ago, which may as well be 10, 20 years ago in the IT world, right? And just really messy. And either way, you're going to be staring at a screen a lot. With IT, it's not as, intensive. usually, I mean, your mileage may vary depending on your company, how things are run. It's different everywhere you go a little bit, but IT is going to be a easier route to do that, I would say. And yeah, definitely less intensive. If you really are passionate about coding, go for it. Go for the developer route, and then you can definitely get into security from there. But now, lastly, I wanted to address say you're coming from no experience in any IT type of field. Maybe you're a barista at Starbucks, bartender, maybe you're in some sort of trade, plumbing, HVAC, welding, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just basically say you're not in IT. What I would say is, if you don't have a college degree, what I would recommend definitely is looking into certifications, like IT certifications, not security ones. Just start basic. There's a lot of, they're really highly valued in this industry, in security, in IT, all of that. So I would start off with CompTIA A+ certification. That is a really simple one. That's about as easy, basic as you can get. Even if you fail it, keep going, keep pushing through, you'll get it eventually. When you get it, that's gonna give you a little bit of leverage into finding an entry-level IT position. I would look for help desk, IT help desk, just the most bare bones, bare minimum IT position you can get, just to get your foot in the door. Once you have your foot in the door, it's a lot easier to go into, like, say, sysadmin. And that, let me just tell you, if you're a system administrator, sorry, your chances of getting into security, if you develop those skill sets on the side, you're set. You'll get in there for sure. But first, you just need to get your foot in the door. Get some basic certifications, CompTIA A+, maybe look at a few other ones, really easy ones. Get them, then you have some negotiating power. You can get into IT help desk, tech support type of roles, and you spend a little bit of time there, you get into IT operations in some capacity. Sysadmin is ideal, that's why I keep saying sysadmin. Do that, and then along the way, I'll conclude with this. Along the way, make sure you're studying security on the side. Like, once you definitely by the time you get into your IT operations position, be studying security on the side. That way you can tell your prospective employers, hey, I'm interested in security. Here's some of the things I've done on the side. Here's some of the CTFs I've worked on. These are the tools that I've been learning on my own time. And definitely in that regard, keep watching this channel if you want to pick up some cool tools and techniques, how to use things and start figuring things out so that you can teach yourself and be really marketable. So yeah, definitely hit the subscribe button for more of that sort of content from this channel. But yeah, I just want to give you guys a basic rundown. I know this video is getting a bit lengthy at this point, but I want to give you the basic rundown of how to get into this field, because I didn't know any of this stuff when I first started out. I kind of stumbled in it. To be honest, the career kind of chose me in a way. I didn't think I would get into this field, but now I definitely do love it. And what I love even more than that is being able to help you guys out. So yeah, I hope I was able to do exactly that. If there's any questions that you guys still have, feel free to shoot them down below in the comment section, and I will definitely get back to you. Other than that, I will see you in the next video. Stay tuned for more of those technical, hands-on type of content where I'm hacking. And I'll just conclude with saying that I am looking into doing some live hacking videos in the near future, waiting on a few studio-related equipment pieces to come in before I really do that. But that's something I'm going to expand to, live hacking, where I'm going to be hacking some systems through Hack the Box live, and we can all come and sort of hang out and do that together. That's part of my process of building myself up to OSCP, because I'm going for it just like many of you guys watching the channel. And even if you're not, it will be a cool journey to share with each other. So yeah, I will end the video here, and I'll see you in the next one.